Welcome to Live Daf, your online Daf Yomi Shir.
Shalom Aleichem and welcome back to today's Daf Hayomi, Maseches SOTAH Daf Lamed Aleph. We are holding on the third line from the top. Back to the Mishnah, describing events that took place on that day, the day that Rabbi Yehuda Kessler was appointed as Nasi. Darash Rabbi Yehuda ben Hurkanus. He tells us, Shaloi Avad Yoiv Es Hamakim Es HaKadosh Baruch Hu Elam Ava. You should know that Yoiv was totally committed and loyal to Hashem. His service to Hashem was motivated by love. The pasuk says, right? Hein yiktaleni loy ayachal. So perhaps it would make sense to refer back to the actual Mishnah, which is on Chaf Zayin Amud Beis. So around 10 lines from the bottom there, you have the two dots by B'yayim. He says, Eiv served out of love. Shenemar, he brings a pasuk in Eiv, of course. Hein yiktaleni. Even if he puts me through hardship, even if he puts me to death, loy ayachal, I still am loyal to him. So it's spelled with Lamed Aleph. I am not chas v'sholom loyal to him, but we read it as loy. We understand it as loy. No, I still turn towards him, to Hashem. So the Mishnah there says, well, we're not sure how to read it, how to understand it. Is it the way it's read, or the way it's spelled? V'adayin hadavar shakol. It's still an even balance. Loy ani mitzapeh. Is it with a vav? I still turn to him. I'm still loyal to him. Oy ani mitzapeh, or is it in the negative? If he does this to me, if he gives me hardship, Hashem, loy ayachal, no longer will I turn towards him. We need an extra pasuk. The next pasuk, Tamaloymar ad egva loy asir as to masi mimeni, until my very death. Whatever I go through, I'm still loyal and dedicated to Hashem. This teaches us malamed sheme'ava also, that whatever he did was out of love and affection to Hashem. Okay, so back on Lamed Aleph over here, 5 lines from the top, right at the two dots. V'lechsi, what's the question? Hadavar shakol, it's in balance. We're not sure how to read the pasuk. Is it in the positive or in the negative? We'll take a look at the spelling. V'lechsi, hi loy. This word loy, how is it spelled? Ibe Lamed Aleph. Either is it Lamed Aleph, which would indicate no. Ibe Lamed Aleph ksiv, loyu. That means it's loy, not. If it's spelled with a vav, then it's in the positive, loyihu. So what's the question? Says the Gemara, do you mean to say, whenever a word is spelled lamed aleph, loyihu, does it have to mean negative? What about the next pasuk? Whenever the Jewish nation is in pain, is in tzara, loy tzara. Right? It's spelled as Lamed Aleph. Does that mean to say that Chas v'Shalom Hashem doesn't care? Lo Yitzar, Hashem doesn't care about our distress? Do you really think that Hashem doesn't care? The pasuk, in fact, that very pasuk, the next word reads like this: Haksiv, Malach Panav Yishiyam. Hashem, sends his Malach to save us. He's very concerned about our well-being. So even though it's with a Lamed Aleph, that's the spelling, but sometimes the reading is what defines the definition. Yes, our distress is distressing to Hashem as well. So apparently, spelling doesn't always play a role, doesn't always define the definition. And here as well by Eiv. Although it's spelled Lamed Aleph, we're not sure. I no longer turn to Hashem, or I continue turning to Hashem. So that's why we needed the other pasuk, which proved to us that yes, Eiv was committed with his loyalty to Hashem through thick and thin, because he was motivated by love, by Ava. And Ava overcomes all difficulties. Ahava mikalkeles es ashura. Tanya Rav Meir Omer. Nemar Yirei Elokim be'Iyov. We have the term Yirei Elokim by Iyov. V'nemar, where else do we have Yirei Elokim b'Avram? After the Akedah. So he got a message from Shemaim. Yeah. Now we know you're really Yirei Elokim. Look, we're going to overcome your midas hachesed, your feelings of love and affection to your child, and be makriv him as a carbon to Hashem. What self-discipline, what sacrifice. Now we know who you are. So since we have the same phrase mentioned in both contexts, by Iyov and by Avram, we say like this: Ma Yirei Elokim Amma b'Avram me'ava. Just as Avram, who's described as a Yirei Elokim, is really a yira which is stemming from love, fear out of love. Maral and Chidush Agadis explains, when you truly love something or somebody, you want to connect to it, you're drawn to it, and you're constantly in that, you have that fear and concern of not wanting to disconnect and lose that relationship. So Avram Avinu was primarily motivated by Ava, Chesed LaAvram, generosity, pleasure, Ava, love to Hashem. But the yira that he had was a yira stemming from that Ava. I don't want to disconnect. So although it has Yirei Elokim mentioned by Avram, but really it's based and rooted in Ahava. Af Yirei Elokim ha'amar be'Iyov. Likewise, the term Yirei Elokim mentioned by Iyov, me'ava, it's rooted and generated from Ava. V'Avram gufay minon. How do we know, in fact, that Avram Avinu epitomized love to Hashem? D'chsiv zera, Klal Yisrael, the children of Avram, oihavi, my oihev, my lover. Now, it's pretty clear from the Gemara that Ava stands higher than Yira. My Yika ben Oisam ba'Ava l'Oisa Yira. Yira, how do we define the difference between the two types of service to Hashem? Any major difference? Yes. Ika, there is a difference in terms of the long-term effect and protection for one's descendants and generations. Ika, the Sanya, as we learned in the Brisa, Reb Shimon Elazar Omer, Gadol, ha'Oisam Ava. Yoser, one who serves out of love to Hashem is greater. He stands higher than one who fears out of yira. Even a yira which is a pretty lofty yira, as Rashi explains, a feeling of awe from being in Hashem's presence. So that's a lofty yira. It's not just a basic fear of punishment or Gehenna. We're speaking about a yira which is generated by appreciating Hashem and His presence. But Ava is that positive sensation that takes you higher than Yira. In what way? Shezet toli lelav dur. Ava lasts longer. It has a longer effect. It protects one's descendants up to 1,000. Yira protects up to 1,000 generations. V'zeh, but Ava stands higher and is longer lasting. Benefits your children and grandchildren up until 2,000 generations. How do we know? Because by Ava it says, Hashem does chesed up until 2,000 deiros of the Oyev Hashem. But by the one who fears Hashem, we have one who safeguards Hashem's mitzvahs out of fear. So that lasts 1,000 generations. What do you mean? In the pasuk of 1,000, it also mentions Oyev Hashem, Lo Yavav, and then L'Shem Mitzvaysav, Le'elav Dar. So apparently 1,000 is the number for an Oyev Hashem as well. No, Haile de Samachle, Vaile de Samachle. In each pasuk we look at what's right near the number. So, true, in the second pasuk we do have a mention of Oyev, but which words are positioned near the number 1,000? L'Shem Mitzvaysav, Le'elav Dar. Lo'yavav is removed. It's before the word L'Shem Mitzvaysav. So Le'elav Dar is going on the Shem Mitzvaysav on the ones who do out of Yira, as opposed to the first pasuk. We have Alofim Lo Yahavai. So we have the Oyev, the one who loves Hashem, mentioned next to the number 2,000. There were two students, the Havu Yasvi. The Rava sitting in front of their Rebbe Rava. So they came in the morning and they told him, look, Rebbe, we had a dream last night. One of them told Rava, look, in my dream they read to me the following pasuk in Tehillim. We were saying Tehillim. Morav Tufcha. Look, the greatness, the schar, the reward Hashem put away for those who fear Him. And the other Talmud says, well, actually, add something similar to that. In my dream, they read to me the other pasuk in Tehillim. Those who love Hashem will always be singing, dancing, and happiness. What is the meaning of these? What are the meanings of these dreams? And the Farshim explained the one who was referenced as a Yarei Hashem was concerned perhaps. It was just something very basic, being alluded to, like yiras ha'onesh, fear of sin, of punishment. So they asked Rava to decipher. Amar Lu, he tells them, look, no worries. Both of you are great men. Tarvaychut Rabbanon, both of you Chachamim, tzaddik gmuriyatun, you're really complete, full, high-level tzaddikim. Mar ma'ava, mar ma'yira. Each one of you have different missions in life. You're rooted in love. You're rooted in yira, but not to worry, you're both pretty much up there. Of course, we learned there's a slight discrepancy in levels, but we're speaking really lofty in either case. Okay, Hadron Allah Kem Shem Shamayim, so we proved that Eiv loved Hashem. Avram Avinu was called Avram Yehavi, and we had a story of the two Talmidim. Continues the Mishnah. Now we're going back to halachas of Kinev Istira, and Tesis actually comments on the fact that apparently this parak really belongs in the beginning of the Masechta. In any case, the Mishnah says like this: Misha kine li'ishtay. A husband sees his wife conducting herself inappropriately, he warns her. Don't get involved with that person. V'nistara, she defies his warning. She goes into seclusion with that man. How does the husband know that she was nistar? Afilu shama ma'if hapareach. Even if he heard it from a bird flying by, who tweeted it to him. And Rashi says, it's just, the Farshim learn Rashi that it's just like a mashal. It means to say that he got his information relayed to him by even an eved, a shifcha, not necessarily the most trustworthy aid kosher. But according to Rabbi Lezer, you don't need Eidim for stira, even if he got his information from an alternate source. That makes her usher on him, and if he decides to withhold the water and not to, proceed further, yoytziv yitin ksuba, he must divorce because she's usher on him, but he has to pay her the ksuba. Divrei Rabbi Lezer. He says no, you can't have the isser of stira generated by ifa pereach. According to Rabbi Shua, you need two edim, but says Rabbi Shua, I'll give you a case where this halacha would apply that she's usher and he must divorce and give her the ksuba. Until the moizrois belavana, those women who sit under the moonlight, crocheting and knitting. This is already a topic of a discussion amongst the gossipers. And Rashi says that preempts, that disrupts, compromises the whole process. You can no longer give it to drink, as we learned back on Daf Vav, and therefore says Rabbi Shua, even though you don't have proof of seclusion of stira, the process stops there. She's usher, and you must divorce and pay the ksuba. Continues the Mishnah. Suppose after kine and stira, an eid echad shows up and incriminates the isha. Amar eid echad, I have witnessed that she sinned. During that seclusion, during that experience, loy haisa shoisa, no more drinking. We learned this back on that base because it says ve'ed ein ba. There aren't a pair of eidim, but apparently, if there is just one aid, even one aid, that makes her usher and she doesn't drink. Not only a kosher aid, not only a qualified witness, even a slave or maid servant, they're trusted, they're believed. In this case, even to make her lose her ksuba payment. Basically, what they're saying is, she's tummy. There's no point in giving her to drink. She leaves the marriage, no ksuba. But we have a list of women who aren't necessarily on the best of terms with this Isha. These are natural disaffinity, let's call it. A feeling of perceived competition, etc. Some sort of feeling of threatening feelings going between them. So the Chachamim don't give credence necessarily to their information. So somewhat we believe them, but not all the way. Chamaisa, her mother-in-law, who comes to testify that she sinned. Ubas Chamaisa, daughter of her mother-in-law, basically her sister-in-law. Betzarasa, a fellow wife. V'yivimta, the wife of her husband's brother. What's the concern there? That that woman thinks perhaps there'll be a yibum situation, and this lady will turn into her tzara, to her fellow wife, so she already dislikes her years in advance. Ubas bala, or this SOTAH's husband's daughter, a stepdaughter. There's some animosity there. So now when they come and testify that she was nitmes, they're believed, but up to a point. There's no drinking anymore. But they can't take away the ksuba, because perhaps they're motivated by animosity. So they do generate some sort of serious question in terms of what happened. Therefore, we cannot proceed with the drinking of the waters, but we can't force her to forfeit the ksuba. All they accomplish is no drinking. Now this is a chiddush, that an eid echad is neman by tumah. And it must be Xeris HaKasa, because in logic it wouldn't really work. Shoya Badin, because really we could have presented a Kal V'chomer to negate that idea, to disallow an Eid Echad by Tumah. Umayim Eidus Rishon. Look, even the previous Eidus, the Eidus which testifies about her stira, that Eidus doesn't permanently impose an Isser on her, it's only temporarily until she drinks. Still, despite the fact that it's not so serious and far-reaching, it can be done with less than 2 Eidim. This is, of course, Rabbi Yehuda's shita. Even for stira, you need 2 Eidim. Certainly, Eidus Achroina doesn't that lend to reason that the final Eidus, the Eidus of Tumah, which affects a permanent Isra on the Isha, like the sky in Bachas Mishnayim, doesn't lend to reason that you need at least 2 Eidim? So why would you allow even 1/8 to be made on the Tumah? Why do we believe him? We have a pasuk. Tamaleimar ve'edein ba. There's nobody to testify. Kol eidish sheyesh ba. Any sort of edus that there is neman, even an eidechad, even an eved, even a shifcha. So now let's work backwards. Kal v'chomer will present a kal v'chomer from the eid of tumah le'edus rishonim mi'ata to prove that the previous edus of seclusion, will have the same din. How? Umayim edus achroina. Because look, the Eidus Achroina of Tumah, which has such a permanent, far-reaching effect, a permanent Isser. Even 1 Eid can do that. Eidus Rishoina, of course, the previous Eidus of Stira, which doesn't necessarily make her Asa forever, just temporarily until she drinks. Doesn't it lend to assume that yes? Shouldn't we assume that even 1 Eid Echad is neman by stira? Talmud Leimer, no, kimatza be'ervas davar. We speak about a man who discovered some improper conduct, and he goes and divorces her. Malah, and we have a lashon ervas davar. V'lahalun oimer, and elsewhere we have the pasuk describing how a litigation process in a bezin takes place with 2 witnesses. Al pishnayim edim yakum davar. We connect the word davar to here by SOTAH, and we say malahalan al pishnayim, just like over there. It's based on on a double witness, 2 edim afkan al pishnayim. The same thing with the SOTAH, the kinui and the stira need to have 2 edim. So kinui and stira must be done by 2 edim, but tumah 1 eid is enough. Now, what if we have a clash? When Eid gets up and says she sinned, no drinking. The other one gets up and contradicts him. What are you talking about? I was there, nothing happened. Or Isha Omeres Nitmes. Same thing if it's women. She says Nitmes. Isha Omeres Nitmes. The other one says no. So they cancel each other out. We're back to square one. And therefore he says Shoisa. She goes back and she drinks. What if it's 1 against 2? Well, 2 prevail. One claims there was tumah, and 2 respond to him, there wasn't, and therefore she deserves to drink. She goes and drinks, And the same thing in the reverse. Shnayim Aymer Nitmes, two claim she was tummy, Ve'echad Aymer Nitmes, and one disagrees. Lo Yisay Shaisa, we believe that the two Eidim, we assume she was tummy, and there's no drinking. Now, let's go back a second. An Eid Echad was only neman by Tuma, not by Kinui and Stira. And the Mishnah presented a pasuk, actually Exera Shava. Matzu Be'ervas Davar. We learn it from the other pasuk, Davar. Why do we need Hai Talmud Leimar Ki Matzu Be'ervas Davar? Why do we need this pasuk and this Exera Shava? We have a more simple source. A pasuk here in SOTAH. Ve'ed ein ba. An Eid affects her with respect to Tumah. Then he's believed. Talmud Leimar ba. Ba means only by Tumah do we believe that the Eid Echad. Ba v'lei b'kinui. Ba v'lei b'stira. Only by Tumah, not by Kinui or by Stira. For those, we need proper Eidim. That's for the pasuk that the Mishnah should bring. Why does the Mishnah bring the other pasuk, Nu Zera Shava? Why is that necessary? Hachina Mekamer, you're right, that's exactly what the Mishnah means to say. Why is an Eid Echad only trusted by Tumah and not by Kinui and Stira? The word Ba. Talmud Leimar Ba. The Eid Ein Ba tells you Ba only by Tumah. V'loi b'kinui, not with respect to Kinui. Ba only by Tumah is one Eid believed. V'loi b'stira, not by Stira. That's one point. And then the Mishnah points out another thing. V'tumah ba'alma. V'loi Kinui. Or v'loi Stira. D'loi mehemen. Eid Echad. Minalad. What about a cold Tumah just out in the blue? No Kinui, no Stira. No reglaim l'davar. There's no basis. Eid Echad gets up and says, this Isha sinned. We know that an Eid Echad is not believed there. Minal, and how do we know that's true? Well, that's standard procedure. And that's why we have the Gzera Shava. For serious litigations, for serious testimony, we need to aid them. Nemar Kan Davar, we have the pasuk Kimatzu Be'ervas Davar, he discovered something improper. For Nemar Lahalan Davar, we have the pasuk Al B'shnayim Eidim Yokum Davar. We learn that two Eidim are required. Ma Lahalan B'shnei Eidim, Afkam B'shnei Eidim, just like over there it's two, over here it needs to be two. So bottom line is, according to Rabbi Yeshua, Kinui needs two Eidim, Stira needs two Eidim. What about Tumah? One Eid is believed. Why not by Stira? Why not by Kinui? Ba, only by Tumah, not by the others. What about out of the blue? An Eid Echad gets up and says, Anisha became tummy. Is he believed? No. Davar teaches us Eidus needs two Eidim. What if we have a collision, a clash between one Eid and the other? Eid Omer Nitmes. So we have conflicting accounts. One says she was tummy, one says she wasn't. So they cancel each other out. Says the Gemara, Tama de Kamachashle. That's only because he's contradicting him. Oh, like Kamachashle. But if there was no contradiction, certainly the Eid Echad is Mehaman. One Eid is to be trusted that she became tummy. How do we know? It's a huge chiddush. The Tanur Rabbanan, this is the Brisa we had already learned back on the Beis. There isn't an Eid testifying. Eid means a pair of Eidim. Bishnayim HaKosher B'daber. There are no two Eidim. Eid is a pair, a concept, Eidus, testimony, which is typically a pair. So there are no two Eidim. Rather, there's only one Eid, and still the pasuk says she's us. Bishnayim HaKosher B'daber. We're speaking about a double, a pair of Eidim. Atoim Bishnayim. You're suggesting that Eid means two. Perhaps the word Eid is one Eid. Talmud Leimar, no. We have another pasuk which tells us that the word Eid is referring to the institution of Eidus. A double, a pair. Well, Yalkum Eid Echad Bish. Right? The pasuk says, an Eid Echad, a single Eid, cannot get up and testify against somebody. This is just, standard process in Bezdin, not SOTAH related. One Eid can't get up and testify. Why Eid Echad? Well, Eid is singular. Why Eid Echad? One Eid. If it only says Leokim Eid, singular, I already know it's one person. Don't I know it's one? Why does the pasuk add the word Echad? Oh, to tell you, to teach you. The definition of the word Eid. It's referring to the institution. A couple of people, a pair of Eidus. Zebanov, this provides a precedence. It defines the meaning. Whenever we have the Lashon Eid, it's a reference to two people. Until the Torah specifies that it's one. That's why it says Leokim Eid. I would think Eid is two. Echad. No, it's one. Back to SOTAH. What does the pasuk say? Ve'eid ein ba. And the pasuk is telling us Trei lesba. Eid means two. There are no two Eidim. Elachad, there's only one. V'lo netfasa asura, because she did it willingly, she's asur. Okay, so we have the source. Now comes the next question. So one aid on his own believed. Says the Mishnah, if we have conflicting accounts, one aid claims Tameh, the other claims Tar, they cancel each other out. How? How could aid number 2 come and cancel out aid number 1, who's already been established, and his account has already been, accepted by the Bezdin? Ula tells us a great chiddush called Makim She'emina Torah Eid Echad. All that we're speaking about with just one aid, but at times, such as by SOTAH, one example of SOTAH, an Eid Echad is believed. So whenever the Torah trusts one aid, we give him the authority like 2. He establishes the facts. And now once the Eid Echad presented his account, it's an established fact. That's it. It's in the records. Whenever the Torah trusts one aid, like by the SOTAH, Harein kan shnai, we treat it like 2 aidim, like the most reliable testimony. And although another aid comes along and disagrees with him, it's worthless. It's been established as fact. The words of a single aid which comes and challenges is worthless. We don't consider the words of one person in the face of 2 aidim. So the first aid is treated like 2. It's an established fact. It's in the records. So why, when the second aid comes along and contradicts, do we cancel the first aid? Elam, Amar Ula says, Ula, you're right. Tani, let's revise the wording of the Mishnah. A huge chiddush. Instead of them canceling each other out, no. The first aid stands. So again, we have an aid saying, she was tummy, no drinking. The other aid disagrees. We listen to the first aid. We ignore the second aid. He agrees as well. We switch the lashon of the Mishnah. Comes Rabbi Yehuda and he says, no, it depends. No. I'm going to reconcile the way we have the Mishnah. Yes, she drinks. So Reuven said, she was tummy, she can't drink. Shimon says, she's tar, she could drink, she will drink. What do you mean? First aid. Establish the facts. How can we just cancel them? Well, according to Rabbi Chia's approach, Kasha de Ula. Ula's whole principle is now in question. The first aid is an established authority. That's it. It's over. How can you just undo him? The answer is, it depends how it happened. Like Kasha. The answer is, Kam babas achas. When do we say that they cancel each other out? When does Rabbi Chia tell her to drink? Because aid number 2 cancels aid number 1 when it happened together. Both aidim came sort of simultaneously. Rashi says, within a short time of each other. Within a few seconds. That's one package, so to speak. One testimony. He presented his facts. He presented his. Bezdin evaluates both together. We have a conflicting presentation. Boom. Cancel them both out. Whereas Ula's idea, that once the first aid established himself, the second one can't come and undo him, that's when he came later. So it's too late. The first one is already established, and we treat him with the utmost respect. He's like 2 aidim in our eyes. Okay? So, once again, an Eid Echad is Neman to testify about Tumah by the SOTAH. Ula tells us, once we see that he's believed, we treat him like 2 aidim, and nobody can come against him. Right? So, if we have another aid who comes and offers conflicting testimony, we disregard that. Now, of course, if 2 aidim come and negate that, they're stronger than him, but not because necessarily they're stronger than him, it's because when you have 2 against 2, then they cancel each other out. But Ula is telling us that if we have 1 aid who's considered like 2, because he has that power of verification, the Torah gives him that ne'emanos. So although another single aid will come later and try to negate that, we disregard it, because it's as though he's going 1 against 2. Rabbi Chia tells us, well, it depends. If both fellas came together at the same time, then it's like a simultaneous cancellation, and we ignore them both. We're going to have a kasha on Rabbi Chia from the Mishnah. Tanan. Mishnah continues. So now we spoke about 1 against 1. What about 1 against 2? The numbers prevail, right? 2 against 1, 2 win. Tanan. Eidamer nitmis. 1/8 says she's tummy. Ushnaim oimrim nitmis, and 2 say no tumah. She should drink. What happens? She drinks. Let's make a diuk. Let's derive from here. 2 against 1, yeah. But let's say it's 1 against 1. Hachad v'chad. So one says tummy, one says tar. Lo isa shaisa. She wouldn't drink. They don't cancel each other out, because the first aid has established himself first, and that's in line with Ula's principle. We treat him with utmost respect. He's treated like 2 Eidim, and the second aid no longer has a say in the matter. That's a kasher b'chia. So you have to der b'chia. So even if you have 2 Eidim right here together, they cancel each other out. Sorry, even if you have 2 Eidim together, b'vasachas, they don't cancel each other out. The first aid prevails. That's a kasher b'chia. Almost b'chia. Okay, according to your kasher, amos safe. Let's move on to the next case of the Mishnah. We have 2 against 1, but the other way around. Shnaim Eimer Nitmes. 2 claim that she's tummy. Ve'echad Eimer Lo Nitmes, and the other one says no. Who do we listen to? The 2 Eidim, who say that she's tummy, therefore she cannot drink. Let's make another deal. 2 against 1, but if it's 1 against 1, hachad v'chad, one says she's tummy, no drinking. The other one says she's tar, yes, drinking. She'll drink, because they cancel each other out. So this is going to be a riot to me. So basically you have conflicting diyukim in the Mishnah. Here we have 1 against 1 is this. Here we have 1 against 1 is the other way. Ella kula b'psula eda, says the Gemara. Ella, forget about the inferences and the diyukim. The point of the Mishnah is not to make the diyukim here. The point is to teach us the actual halacha. That's the point of the Mishnah. To teach us what happens when it's 2 against 1. The Mishnah is not trying to allude to a case of 1 against 1. That wouldn't work out. That would end up with conflicting diyukim. The Iker Chiddush of the Mishnah is 2 against 1. Now you'll ask me, what kind of Chiddush is there that 2 against 1 win? Of course. The Chiddush is ala kula b'psule edus. We're not speaking about qualified witnesses. We're speaking about women, avodim. They're not really considered proper witnesses. The psuli edus. For Rabbi Nechemia, and this is in line with Rabbi Nechemia, who tells us as follows. The son of Rabbi Nechemia Eimer, Kol mokim shamina Torah eid echad. Whenever we find that the Torah trusts even 1 aid, which is an exception to the rule, such as by SOTAH, so 1 aid is believed, an Eved is believed, an Isha is believed. We don't have to have true testimony. Just relate the facts, and that's enough. So in those situations, we follow the majority. Numbers count. Halech acher reiv deis. We follow the reiv deis, the majority opinion. So if you have 2 against 1, even if they're all women, you have 2 women who are disagreeing with the account of 1 man. So 1 man says one thing and 2 women disagree. We give the women the same value, the same power against that 1 man, because it's 2 against 1, just like it would be 2 men against 1 man. Like 2 men who would be confronting 1 man, where of course they would have the upper hand. 2 Eidim against 1, they're believed. Same thing with 2 women. 2 women against 1 man, even though they're psulim, it doesn't matter. It's all about numbers. And that's the chiddush of the Mishnah. We're speaking about women, psuli edus, and the chiddush is even if there are 2 women testifying against 1 man, right? He says nitmes, and they say no, or the other one. They're believed. Okay, so it has nothing to do with the halacha we discussed before of 1 against 1. We're not discussing 1-on-1. There's another version, a slightly different version of Rabbi Nechemia, which will tell us that, after all, Ish, who's kosher l'edus, does have an advantage over the Nashim. True, we follow the numbers. It's all about the numbers. But there is a kashrus factor as well. So if it's 2 women against 1 woman, of course, 2 win. If it's 2 men against 1 man, of course the 2 win. But suppose 1 man came and says nitmis. He established himself. That's it. That's fact. And then 2 women come, they don't have the power to undo that. Because relative to a man, even 2 women don't have the power to cancel him. Okay, so that's the only difference here in terms of the two Lashonis, but the idea, the concept is still the same. It's all about numbers. There's another version of Nechemia. Suppose an Eid Kosher, a man came initially, established the fact as is. We accepted it. We put it in the record. Now, as many women that will come, relative to that man, they have no value. Or at least they're not stronger than him. They can't undo him. Afilu mei noshim, you'll have 100 women disagreeing. They treat like just one Eid. And once the first Eid came and established the facts, it's too late. Like we said before, another Eid can't come and undo it. So even if you have 100 against him, if they're women, they can't undo him. Now back to the Mishnah, where it says that it's all about numbers. We're speaking going to soy isha miikara. Initially, a woman came and testified. Then 2 women came and disagreed. So now the numbers prevail. And we just have to revise the presentation that we provided in the name of Rabbi Nechemia, and we explained to Rabbi Nechemia. We have to revise that because he did not suggest that 2 women can undo 1 man. So we have to change it a bit. We'll revise Rabbi Nechemia like this. Wherever we find that the Torah gave credibility to even 1 Eid, such as by SOTAH, that's indicative of the fact that we're not really following the standard, rules of Eidus. It's all about probability. It's all about majority view. We follow the Roiv opinions, and therefore 2 against 1, 2 will win, but not relative to a man. So 2 women versus 1 woman, yeah, that would be considered a stronger factor and prevail. And that would be like 2 men disagreeing with 1 man. So as long as it's the same gender, right? 2 women against 1 man, or 2 men against 1 man, 2 over 1 win. But if it's 2 women against 1 man, that's like 50-50. Kipalgo, palgadam, it's like 50-50, and they don't necessarily prevail. Okay, a side point. So let's just go back to the Mishnah. By Tumah, 1 Eid is believed. What if it's 1 against 1? Well, that was up for discussion. According to some opinions, it's always the first Eid that gets his way, because he establishes the fact. He's treated like 2 Eidim. It's over. According to Rabbi Chia, if it's bivas achas, so Reuben and Shimon both came to give their Eids at once, and they're conflicting, they cancel each other out. The next part of the Mishnah spoke about uneven numbers, 2 against 1. The Gemara tells us we're speaking about psuli edis, and still they're believed, and it's all about numbers. The more the better, they carry the day. Now, why did the Mishnah tell us 2 halachas, which are pretty much the same, just opposites? We have the first case where one isha says she's tummy, no drinking. 2 says no, she's tar, yes drinking. She will drink. Then we have the next case. 2 claim she's tummy, no drinking. The other one says, no, she's tar, she should drink. What happens? She does not drink. So it's pretty much a repetition. It's just one case and the opposite. So what's the point? Why does the Mishnah have to present 2 almost identical cases to teach us this halacha that psuli edus are going to carry the day? Perhaps I would say, when do we follow the majority view? When it's psuli edus? When do we look at numbers? The chumrah, only if it generates a chumrah, such as in the first case where we get her to drink because of it. But to provide a leniency, such as in the second case where she's going to be exempted from drinking. Perhaps we can't follow Rav Deis by psuli edus. At the chiddush, that they can go ahead and undo the chiv of shtir. Kamashmon, the chiddush is, yeah, that's the way it works, whether it's l'chumra or l'kula. Okay, so we just pretty much summarized the sugi already. Just to go back to the beginning again, we have discussion about Eoiv and about Avram Avinu. Eoiv Hashem Me'ava. We have the schus of Ava is greater than schus of Yira. We have the 2 Talmidim of Rava, who were experiencing their They were tafkid in their dream. He was Oyev Hashem, he was a Yarei Hashem. We have the halacha that Rabbi Lezer presents. Although for kino you need Edom, but for stira you do not need Edom. According to Rabbi Shua, both kino and stira need Edom. But Tumah does not, because we have Ve'ed Ein Ba. Ve'ed means a pair of Edom. There are no pair of Edom, but one Eid is there and he makes her Aser. However, for kino and stira we need two Edom, because it says Ba v'lei b'kino, Ba v'lei b'stira. What about just an Eid Echad out of the blue coming to speak about an Isha's Tumah? It doesn't work. We need two Edom. And we discussed the next couple of cases in the Mishnah how to deal with conflicting accounts, whether it's 1-on-1, 1-on-2, or 2-on-1. All the best to you. Hatzlacha Rava and B'surei Stavis.